Hi, my name is Christian Reynolds from the Centre for Food Policy at City University London.
Hi, my name's Catherine Tubman. I work for a think tank called RethinkX.
My name is Wilfred Emmanuel Jones. I created the Black Farmer brand, which is mainly a meat brand, selling products to the public.
I'm Susan Jebb. I'm Professor of Diet and Population Health at the University of Oxford.
Hello everyone, I'm Sue Davis. I'm Head of Consumer Protection and Food Policy at Which, the consumer organisation.
Hi, I am Mark Post. I am a Professor of Physiology at Maastricht University.
I'm Helen Browning. I'm Chief Executive of the Soil Association, and I'm also an organic farmer, and I'm on the advisory group for the National Food Strategy. So I'm really interested in what people are thinking about these issues at the moment.
We want to be eating higher quality, but possibly less meat because of health impacts, because it is one of the leading causes of climate change, is meat production and animal-based protein production. We need to be thinking about, we want better production of these systems within the UK and globally.
We need to make sure that everybody has access to a healthy and nutritious diet if they want to, that everybody can eat sustainably, and that we need to be much more conscious of the environmental impact of what we eat.
Experts agree that we all need to eat less meat if we're going to be able to tackle climate change.
Most people in the UK eat more than the recommended daily or weekly portions of red and processed meat. We could be reducing it down, but is that enough meat on your plate? Is that the amount that you would actually find satisfying?
One of the interesting things about meat eating is that it is so central to our culture. That's why it's important that we make the decision to eat less meat together, so that we're all trying to move in the same direction, so that it feels more normal to sometimes be choosing a plant-based meal.
I'm a great meat eater, and even I realised that perhaps in my time, in the next 10 years, that meat consumption as we know it is not going to be high. And I don't think there's anything anyone could do to try and stop that trend.
As citizens, clearly we have a really strong role to play, changing our own eating habits, really asking where our food's coming from, eating less, and really making sure that when we are eating meat, that we are eating better, is a key part of the challenge.
One of the more contentious areas that you might want to discuss is balancing the price that you're paying for meat and that we as a society pay for meat versus the animal welfare and also the human welfare, the employment standards that we have within the UK and globally.
There are a lot of minerals, vitamins, trace elements that you find in meat that are harder to find in a plant-based diet. If we're going to eat less meat, we need to eat more of something else. And what is that going to be? Where and how is that going to be produced? So if we are going to have more plant-based food, we need to find the land to grow that on. Also, crop-based systems are not themselves environmentally neutral. There are energy costs in ploughing and harvesting. There will be agrochemicals used to prevent pests and diseases. So it's not simply taking meat out on one side of the equation. There will have to be some balancing impacts on the other side.
Some people are trying to grow meat in laboratories, so-called cell-cultured meat. It would mean we could use vastly fewer animals in our food system while still producing things which looked and tasted very much like the meat we're used to today.
So when people think about their food, I think it's very easy to just think about, say, meat or dairy or milk, but what are the components of that meat and dairy? What are the kind of underlying compounds and molecules that make it up? That's probably what you're going to see more focus on as we start to build our food up from these key molecules and, make a burger that tastes like a burger by using plant-based blood or, animal blood made in a lab, complete with kind of plant-based materials to give it the bulk.
We've led a lot of developments and innovations, and that can all be really positive for consumers. But we've often seen that the consumer has been thought about too late in the day.
We are afraid of new foods. On the other hand, we are very acceptant of things that we don't quite understand or don't quite know what it is. as long as we have the feeling that it's safe. But that ethical kind of component is always in the background. And once you have a availability of a product that is really a credible alternative to meat, that ethical issue might come up very, very quickly. We have seen something similar with caged eggs and free-range eggs, right? Where the ethical component, the animal welfare component, really drove the market towards free-range eggs.
We're seeing a lot of these companies who are up and coming with new kind of, modern food, as we call it. Really looking at that and understanding that transparency and public trust is incredibly important. They're very keen on kind of showing people where it's from and how you're making it.
For me, as a business, I know that I need to start thinking about what could I do in order to be part of that new trend.
There are many farmers, many food producers who are locked into a system of keeping animals in a way that is probably no longer appropriate for the future. Their livelihoods are at stake, and we need to find a way for them to transition from where they are today into a better future.
It's a system. And as consumers, we are part of that system, and we have to realize that. And farmers are part of that system, and meat producers are part of that system.
We absolutely have to get this right. We have to eat to live, and if we do not get food systems right, the other demographic and political changes that result from that will be serious and destabilizing.
Do we want to change our behavior? And can we change our behavior fast enough?